It's a very sad moment when an airline goes bust, especially if that airline is established and has been operating for many years. We know the damage that this pandemic has caused to the aviation industry, and unfortunately, it's taken yet another airline, Latam Airlines. So the airline made a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing late on Monday, stating that they intend to keep flying passengers and cargo subject to travel restrictions and demand while they restructure and figure out what the hell they're gonna do going forward. The airline had to cancel 95% of its flights as the pandemic hit Latin America, and only last week announced their plans for a gradual recovery of capacity in its 330-strong fleet, targeting a growth of 9% in June and 18% in July. The airline had a rough go overall in the preceding months, and Argentina has instated one of the world's harshest travel bans due to the pandemic, which was one of the main reasons the Latam group cited for the June 2020 suspension. At the time, the airline ensured that Argentina would not be completely left for dead, as domestic operations were cut out, but only international flights were picked up by other Latam subsidiaries. So the airline started their operations all the way back in 2005 under the name of Aero 2000 and subsequently acquired by LAN Chile, and they had a fleet of 13 Airbus A320s and 2 Boeing 767-300ERs. The airline was the second most important airline in Argentina, just behind their flag carrier Aerolíneas Argentinas and preceding the low-cost carriers Flybondi and JetSmart. Before the pandemic, Latam was seeing successful profit margins, posting profits 4 years straight, totaling more than $700 million. Delta, which is one of the major airlines in the US, had only recently invested in Latam in 2019, becoming one of the largest shareholders in the company with a 20% stake. For its part, Delta had continued its support for the airline and even applied with Latam for the code-share agreement, allowing the companies to share flight plans. Now, the debt financing, which is a form of senior debt available to companies that have filed for bankruptcy, was provided by Qatar Airways, which owns roughly 10% of the group's equity. The Quito family was the airline's largest shareholder at the end of February, holding 21% of the equity. And it goes without saying that the airline is seeking further support from its other owners. They're also talking to the governments of Chile, Colombia and Peru to find additional financing and also protect jobs. For its part, the airline claims that it will return to 18% capacity as soon as July. One indicator of this is the recent spike in investment in Latam stock holdings. Investors assume that they will receive a high reward for their investments as the COVID-19 becomes less of a threat. Yet, despite all of these moves, both financially and commercially, Latam still remains over $7 billion in debt. With that amount of debt, plus unpaid loans borrowed from their affiliates, it seems like bankruptcy might be the only small step towards recovery. In May last year, they announced the rejection of 19 leasing contracts, and they reduced their fleet by returning 6 long-haul wide-body jets and 13 narrow-body Airbus models. Then in September, they reported that the airline planned to offload 19 more Airbus A320 family leases. Still, the final size of the fleet is unknown. In its third quarter results, Latam stated that it is currently evaluating the adequate fleet needs for the following years. They ended the quarter with a total fleet size of 317 aircraft. Of these, 102 are under operating leases and 215 belonging to the airline. The airline reduced their expenses by 55%, and they managed to reduce its wages and benefit payments by 56%. So the airline, like many others, has furloughed people across its several branches, and they've even closed their regional domestic carrier, Latam Argentina. So captains, unfortunate news of yet another airline going bust. And I hate to say it, I have a feeling that we'll be seeing a whole lot more airlines going down under before this pandemic is over. If you've ever flown with the airline, then do share your experiences in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.